Okay, we are live now. We are live. So I think it takes few seconds for YouTube to notify people that we are here, and then they can join. All right, guys. Good evening, everybody. Please let me know if you can see me and if you can hear me. Hi, Mr. Michael. Good evening. Good evening, guys. Thank you for joining today's live stream. It's been a minute. Hi, Fisayo. Good evening. Okay, I think we have, okay, yeah. Yeah, please, okay, Juliana Wabeze Fatog. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing it well, but yeah, I see you. Grace, hello, good evening. Okoro, good evening. Emmanuel, Joshua, good evening. Good evening, everybody. It's good to have you all here. Hi, Larry. Hi. We can see you. We can hear you loud and clear. Great. All right, guys. I'm grateful to be here, and I'm grateful to everyone that has joined us tonight. Thank you so much for coming. I promise you that it's going to be a very impactful session. From the title of this live stream, we're going to be talking about the professions that are in high demand in the UK that are still with visa sponsorship even after the immigration rules. So is there still hope in the UK? We're going to be finding out tonight. Or should we start looking at other countries? We're going to find out. So please stay with us. We're going to be sharing one big secret with you tonight. Okay? And I'm not going to be doing that alone. I've got two special guests. One is very new. The other, you guys might have seen him once in a while, but hi, Theophilos. Hello, good evening, good luck. It's good to have you all here. How you all doing? I'm good, and I know you all are good too. And we're just going to start right now. In fact, we've started already. And as I was saying, I've got two special guests. They would introduce themselves, and we'll just get into the business of the day. Okay, we're going to start from our lady, because ladies first.
Good evening.
Good
Good
evening.
evening, everybody. My name is Ayobami Olaoshegba. I am based in the UK, Glasgow, Scotland, to be precise. And I've been opportune to train with Tenalytics. And to be honest, it was an interesting and should I say an exposure. So they were detailed, very detailed. So for anybody at all that's never had the tech background, I can guarantee that Tenalytics is a place to be because I don't have a tech background. So if I can do it, anybody can.
Okay, so what's your background, if you don't mind?
Education, to be precise.
Oh, wow.
So my BSc was in economics and education. My master's was in educational administration and planning before I did a master's in HR. So there was no tech background at all.
Yeah. So now, what do you do now?
Okay. Currently, I'm working with Barclays as a business relationship manager. But Tenalytics helped me get a role in Bitsin Cancer Charity as an income data and insight analyst. I think that was the role because I ended up did not accept that role, but I got the role. They helped me with the interview preparation. I remember I reached out to them and they were really, really helpful. Even though then I was really tired and I was not too, in fact, I think the first session I missed it. They still rearranged another one for me because of my busy schedule. So they were really, really nice. And after the whole interview preparation, I reached out back when I got the role, and they were still eager to, support me if I needed more support.
Mm. Right. Thank you for sharing. So, to the gentleman, please, may we know you?
Thank you very much, Tochi. My name is Adeiza Suleiman, and I'm sure your audience are already very familiar with my face at this point. I'm a technology expert with over a decade experience cutting across data analytics and management consulting. I'm the founder of Tenalytics and the co-founder of Amdari, two platforms that have helped over 3,000 people to make the transition from non-technology backgrounds into careers within the tech ecosystem, just like Ayobami from education. Ayobami, if I'm correct, you've also done customer service, customer care at some point, but she was able to move from that role into a role as an income data analytics, role, which we'll speak about as we move on today. I've lived and I've worked in the UK as a data science consultant. I've worked in the US as well. I've worked with one of the largest energy conglomerates, privately owned energy conglomerate in sub-Saharan Africa as a data analyst. I've worked as a data analytics consultant with FITC, owned by the Bankers Committee and the Central Bank of Nigeria. I currently consult for companies here in Canada. I'm based in Alberta, Canada at the moment. And my goal is to help people that look like me, Africans in the diaspora, Africans in Africa, to also make the transition, just like I did. My first degree was in industrial chemistry. So just like Ayobami, I had no technology background, but about 12 years ago, I also made that transition. And how was that possible? Okay, so the same learnings, the same framework, the same process we applied to people like Ayobami and about 3,000 other people, and they have also been able to make that switch. So I'll be very happy to share my experience today with every single one of you. So if you have questions, please feel free, ask your questions as Ayobami shares her experience, and I also would chime in as well. Thanks, Tochi.
Thank you so much for coming. We are happy to have you. And I'm very sure that this session is going to be very, very, very life changing today. Right. So, Ayobami, can you please tell us what made you to take a course in tech? What was the turning point for you? That thing I just said that made you say, "Oh, now is the time." What was it?
Okay. The thing is, tech has everybody knows that tech is the in thing now, really.
Mm,
Everybody knows that
God.
it's the in thing now. And for most of this, actually, even Nigeria, and especially if you want to maybe migrate, relocate to all these other countries like UK, US, Canada, that's what is easy for you, for anybody to actually get maybe the sponsorship roles or to get a work that would, take you out of wherever you are, be it Ghana, any African country, or anybody, even for those in UK that want to migrate to US, it's actually easier with tech. So when I saw that, of course, I want to I want to join the the train, of course. So that was why I had to say okay. And then I was doing I was studying HR, so I felt I can include analytics with my HR to give me an edge. And that was it for me.
Okay. So for some, like you mentioned that your background is education. So for
Mhm.
somebody who is scared and the person doesn't know if tech is for him or her, but like you said, it's the intent. So they have heard, for instance, maybe now I've heard, oh, tech, everybody should go into tech. And I want to, but I'm scared. Like my background is not in computer science. I don't even know maths. I don't know if I'm going to do it. I have a family, I have kids. What would be your advice to such people?
I was scared because I thought it was going to be one very serious coding thing because personally I don't really like coding. So I thought it was going to be involving coding things and all that. But I can tell you it's not all tech roles that involve coding, mathematics, or any serious thing. If I can do it, anybody can, seriously. Because I'm not even from a science background, you know. I don't have that. I'm from a commercial background. So even if you're from commerce or arts, and one thing with analytics, really, I still have that access to that to my dashboard. They take you from the scratch, like from, you know, when you are teaching a child how to crawl, that's how analytics does. They take you from the very scratch, and you have access to those dashboard that even if you don't understand, you can ask and ask, or even rewatch when you have time. When we do our live classes, sometimes if you are, maybe if you're the type that, you know, you catch things very fast, you will just be there. But those that are still slow, those that are the slow learners, because we don't all learn at the same pace, they still give
Absolutely.
that chance to everybody to, you know, move at the same pace. So if you're the type that you don't grab things fast, or you feel that this it will involve maybe mathematics, and you are not good in maths, or you are not good in physics, or you are not good in science, then you are scared of it. No, anybody at all, anybody, even from arts, from any course at all, can actually move into tech. That's the truth.
Okay, but when we talk about tech, we know that it's wild. There's a wide range
Yeah.
of technical skills. So how are you able to decipher the particular one to go for? To decide on how to streamline your own to what you went for.
So the thing is, when I was in Nigeria, I had I had always had interest in HR, and that's one of the things that actually pushed me to do HR when I came here. And when I got here, looking at all the whatever role you are doing now, it has the tech. There's HR analytics, there's financial analytics, there is
Yeah.
data analysts can work anywhere. There is the
Yeah.
business there are so many data scientists. So you just choose your own that can work with whatever you are doing right now. Data analysts can work with anything. Business analysts can work with anything. The HR I'm doing is just like they are including analytics with HR. So
Yeah.
whatever you are doing, you can include analytics plus whatever you are doing to just give you that edge. And seriously, if you can operate the mobile phone that all of us are using, you can do tech, sincerely.
Okay, that's good. So how did you come about Tenalytics? And
Oh,
yeah.
it's a friend, actually. First of
Okay.
all, on Instagram, their ads always come up on me. If I do not hear from somebody that I've used somebody, yeah, I know
Yeah.
I don't jump.
Yeah.
So there was this my friend where we were staying together at a point when I got here to the UK. Her husband did a course with analytics, business analysis then. And then he told me then that even when he's going to work, he can always listen to the live class and all that, and how flexible their class was. So I was like, okay, let me give it a shot. In fact, I actually compared with others. I don't want to mention anybody's name, but I compared with others before I settled down with analytics. And sincerely, I do not regret my choice.
Okay. So now you've already said how you registered with them and how they've been good to you. When it got to after your training, at what point did you feel like you're not ready to start applying for a job? And what role did Tenalytics play? Did they help with did they support you? Did they mentor you? Or did they just teach you and they now left you to be on your own?
No. Right from the time when you start, they will start giving you the necessary resources to build your CV. They they were the ones that I had an idea of this, but Tenalytics, there's a difference between people telling you, I can do this for you, and they will just do it for you, and somebody teaching you how to do that thing yourself. That was what Analytics did. I knew about LinkedIn optimization. I think somebody has once done one for me that I went through it and I didn't like how they did it. I had to, started deleting so many things. But Tenalytics actually taught me how to do it, what to look out for, what to do so that I can achieve what I want. So they taught me, and I was able to optimize my LinkedIn myself and even kind of teach some of my friends. So I think I love that about them. They don't just say, we will do it for you, and then they will do it, not showing you how. Some people will hide that and be using it to collect money from you, like bring it, we'll do it for you. But they will teach you how to do it yourself. And I love that, really. So from the start, from when we joined, they showed us how to build your CV. They gave us a sample. They told us in fact, they were doing sessions. In fact, some of those sessions I didn't attend because it was too much to catch up with. But if you're the type that can catch up with everything, believe me, none of them is a waste. For me, I have kids. I still have a baby, so I couldn't really catch up. But they were all impactful sessions. The few ones that I was able to join, I know what I learned and what I know. But there were replay sessions also. But it's actually not easy to catch up with replays. Personally, I don't know every other person. If you can, really, it's good. So they had those different sessions, how to do your CV, how to optimize your LinkedIn, and what role. In fact, there was one they did. They would bring different roles, look for job adverts, and with the ones with sponsorship, they will bring it to our dashboard for you. And every time they'll be asking you, how many have you applied for? They are just following us through the process, going through it with us. They're not just teaching you and leaving you alone. No, they are supporting you all through the way. So that's one thing I'll give up for them. They are really good in that.
You're muted, Tochi.
Yeah, because you also mentioned that they actually helped and supported you to land that, analytics role that you landed, right? So
Yeah.
that's a good thing. And I just want to ask you a question, Suleiman. Is that okay?
Go ahead, please.
So now, let's say somebody reaches out to you now with everything going on in the UK, and Ayobami, you can also answer as well if you have an answer to this question. But now, with everything going on in the UK, and there's somebody already here on a study visa, on a post-study work visa, or there's somebody that is outside the UK that still really wants to work in the UK, right? And the person reaches out to you and says, is there still hope with everything going on in the UK? Should I still come? Someone recently, someone even asked me, I just got admission in the UK. Do you think I should come with, the immigration laws? You just feel like it doesn't favor students. Some people even tell you, oh, don't come and study in the UK anymore, and all of that. So if somebody like that who is confused, maybe an old friend or a stranger, reaches out and asks you this question sincerely, what would be your honest response to that person?
The UK is a fantastic place to be in terms of work. I've lived in the UK. I live in Canada. They're miles apart. Okay. Different people would have their different opinions, but they're miles apart. All right. So what I would always tell people is understand exactly what you're going to do. Have an objective. So what's your plan moving to the UK? If you're going there to study, how do you land a job after studies? Okay. And I think these are the things people don't plan for. They don't have a clear roadmap on the exact direction they would love to go. All right. So what I'll tell anybody to do is what the UK is doing is not new. All right. They've done this before. They've reversed policies. They're coming up with new policies to tighten immigration. But guess what? The professionals, the people that are simply saying they want to come into the country, they want to get into the UK, are the highly skilled professionals. Can you come to the UK and contribute to the UK economy? Can you get a job as a data analyst, as a data scientist, as a data engineer, and so on and so forth, as a business analyst, like Ayobami mentioned? All right. So you'd see that the new eligible occupations for the skilled worker visa, which came into effect on the 22nd of July, are now categorized as higher skilled, medium skilled, and ineligible for the skilled worker visa. Okay, so that's where you have to start from. Ask yourself the question, what is this country looking for? What type of professionals do they want to come on board? And the skilled worker visa is not the only route to get into the UK. All right. You also have the global talent visa, which a lot of people don't take, advantage of. But we always say these things during our mentorship sessions. We give you the references you need to apply to get your endorsement from Tech Nation, and from there you go ahead to apply for the global talent route. Okay, so the UK is a fantastic place to work. It's a fantastic place to study. And if anybody comes to me and says, "Hey, Adeiza, I'd like to come to the UK," I'll sit down with you, have a conversation around your plans. If you are not willing to get into a career path that is in high demand, then don't bother. But if you are willing to learn the skills that would ensure that you're competitive, data engineering skills, agile project management, cybersecurity, if you are willing to get into these areas, which I'll list all of them, then the UK is a fantastic place for you to be. But whatever the UK is doing today, it's not new. Canada is doing the same. They're tightening immigration. The US is doing the same, tightening immigration, and across, board essentially. So you still have to stay competitive, and that's the advice I'd give to anyone. I don't know if that answers your question, Tochi.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Ayobami, do you have anything to say?
I think Adeiza has said it. Suleiman has said everything. Just having those skills. I think it's just being strategic now, really.
Yeah.
Know what you're doing before you come in. Because they said this is what they want. So give them more than what they want. You will be there. Once you have all those skills, they won't have any other choice than to, pick you.
Absolutely.
Do you know what? This is something I've observed is that a lot of our people don't really know how to research. Now, I don't mean it in a bad way.
Yep.
These things are there. If you go to gov.uk, everything, the eligible skilled worker visa list, the jobs that can still be sponsored, the jobs
Yes.
that, it's all there. So go there and see
Yes.
how your skill, your expertise, your qualification can meet up. And if it doesn't, look for ways to upskill.
Yep.
Especially if you really want to move upskill to that point where they want, because there's something that was really striking in this, both the white paper, the new immigration rules and everything. Despite the fact that the UK said that they are cutting down on certain jobs and certain occupations or even stopping some, they still said it clearly that they're going to make it easier for professionals in AI, in science, in this sector
Yep.
to come in.
Yep.
So it's not over. Immigration is not ending, or they're not closing their border, but they're just saying we don't want low skill level jobs anymore. We don't want people that don't have any specific skill. All we want is high skilled individuals, people with certain kinds of skills and qualifications. That's what we now want. And
Yep.
that's what they didn't say, don't come. No, to just say if you want to come, then you have to meet the standard. And that's it. So if you don't have it and you really want to move, what
Yep.
should you do? Try and meet up with the standard that they want, and the door will still be open for you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I just
And
wanted us to
just to
make
add,
that clear. Yeah, yeah.
just to add to that very quickly. So I always also advise that as you look regionally, wherever you want to move to, okay, or wherever you are, also look globally. All right. So where is the shift going to? Where is the shift of the world of work, the future of jobs? Where is it going to? So if I decide to leave the UK today and I want to live somewhere else, can I compete for jobs in that other region? Okay. And there are ways to go about this. Like you rightly mentioned, Tochi, research is very, very important. And that's the core at what we do at Tenalytics. So using the World Economic Forum Future of Jobs report, for example, you'd clearly see the career path that would grow in demand and those that would decline in demand. So while I was in Nigeria, I worked in financial services. I was a data analyst. I moved to the UK. Within a month, I landed a job moving to the UK. How was that even possible? It was possible because I had the skills and I had the requirements to compete for the best jobs. I was a data analyst. I applied to data analytics roles. So I really did not struggle. Now I'm in a different country. And the question is, how do you move across different regions, different countries, and still stay competitive? So as you look and research regionally, also take it a bit global. So at the end of the day, you're a global professional. You can work remotely, irrespective of where you are. And I'll share some amazing, success stories of professionals that have done this and are still doing it, just like Ayobami also, made that switch a few months ago.
Right. Thank you. Let's just let you continue because I'm sure you have a lot to say. So you have the floor, Suleiman.
Okay, absolutely. So I'll just go ahead and share my screen and I'll just walk you through a couple of things. And I'm sure you'd learn one or two things from our session today. So just give me 1 second. I'll go ahead and share.
Please like this section if you haven't liked it. Just click on the like button. Thank you.
Okay, so we can bring the screen up now, Tochi. All right, fantastic. So how did Ayobami? There was a gentleman that was meant to join us today. He couldn't make it. His name is Christian. So Ayobami Rashidat, how was she able to land a job, to make that switch from education? Somebody who studied education in the university also went ahead to do HR, had worked in customer care. The very first thing you want to do is to learn the skills. But now the question is, which skills do I learn? Skills that are high in demand. Okay, high in demand skills, irrespective of where you are. So what we do is every single year we scrape data from the major job boards. We analyze to see the roles companies are hiring for that are in high demand. Okay, we don't stop there. We also look globally. We look at the World Economic Forum Future of Jobs reports to see the career path that will grow in demand and those that will decline. All right. So we use that to compare our analysis to identify for these career paths that are high in demand globally, is that where the shift is also going? Then finally, we look regionally. We look in within the UK, we look at the eligible occupations for the skilled worker visa. And even with the new changes, you also have a temporary shortage list, which shows you career paths that are still eligible for sponsorship. However, they did not meet the required qualifications framework level 6, but they are still eligible. So you have all of that. So we look at all of that. We look at the US, the job roles with the highest H-1B petitions. We look within Canada. We look at the different provinces and the provincial programs that gives you accelerated pathways to permanent residency. And there are 8 career paths that you want to find yourself in. Number 1, data analytics, data science, data engineering, business analysis, cybersecurity, financial analytics, agile project management, HR analytics. These are roles that you find yourself in any of these career paths, you will not struggle to land a job. The most important thing now is focus. How do I focus and ensure that I stay on one and I don't jump from one to the other? Because that's something that people tend to do. Rather than focusing on one from start till finish, they start with one, they move to the next one, they move to the next one. And it takes a lot of time for them to eventually go ahead and get to a logical conclusion within that program. So what Ayobami did was to select one. She joined the data analytics program, got into the program, and then more importantly, the skills alone would not land you the job. And this is where I see a lot of people making mistakes. Then you have the packaging. Ayobami talked about LinkedIn optimization. She talked about the CV, the interview prep, the mentorship sessions, and so on and so forth. So you must have the right CV to land a job. So we help you revamp your CV. We revamp it for you, and then we show you how to tailor that CV to other job applications. So you don't take one CV and apply to multiple jobs. You must have the right CV when applying to a particular job, so you increase your chances of landing that opportunity. All right. Optimizing your LinkedIn profile. So whoever you are, that job you're trying to get, you must have that clearly indicated on LinkedIn. Your social persona of the career path you want to move into. Organizations easily finding you because you have optimized your LinkedIn is keyword optimized and you are easily found on LinkedIn. All right. You create a portfolio that showcases that you've done the job before. So your portfolio is like a warehouse. every project you work on, you upload it into that portfolio. So organizations can see that you've done this before, so you're the right person to do it for us. All right. And this is how so many people get jobs. You're in the UK, for example, any UK employer would not want to get somebody in that they would have to train from day one. They want you to hit the ground running. All right. Yes, you're going to get training eventually. However, they want to be sure that you've done this before so you can do it for them. That's where your portfolio becomes very important. Then you have the mentorship sessions every week where you have myself, the co-founder, we bring in other industry experts to handhold you to ensure that you are moving in the right direction. And of course, you have your interview prep. So just like Ayobami said, you have an interview. All you have to do is to book that interview prep. Okay. She talked about a dashboard, and I'll show you what that dashboard looks like very quickly. So this is a dashboard, for example, when for anybody who's registered with Tenalytics, you have access to a dashboard. Okay. All you have to do is come right here and click on what? Schedule appointment for your interview prep. So when Ayobami said, I have access to my dashboard, I can go back, watch my videos. If I want to rehearse, if I want something to refer to, I can simply come to my dashboard. For somebody like Ayobami, she can go to our data analytics program, click on that, and watch all the videos and so on. Okay. Or she wants to learn calculated colons and measures. She can go back and watch this video as reference, and you have lifetime access to this. So that's what your dashboard is all about. You have access to your self-paced content, your recordings, and you can also easily book an appointment to get interview preparation. Very important. Now, when you land a job in the UK, any employer would want to do a reference check, a background check. Now, imagine that for somebody like Ayobami who's worked in customer care, but you've gotten a job as a income data analyst. That organization would want you to provide a reference to showcase that you can use those tools and technologies that you say you can use as a data analyst. Where do you get it from? Do you get it from the job in customer service, or do you get it from the job as a data analyst? And that's where Tenalytics also comes in. So we provide you with those job references to ensure that your background check, you have a reputable organization like us that can vouch for you. And finally, on the job support. You've gotten that job, but then you're working on a project that seems a bit more difficult. And we've all been there before. Okay. So you're working on a project that seems a bit more difficult than you anticipated. You need somebody to walk you through and show you how to solve that problem. So you can always come back to us and we do that for you. All right. So packaging is simply you presenting and positioning yourself as the best candidate for that job. So learning the skill is not enough. Your CV would get you into the room. Your LinkedIn would get you found. Your portfolio would showcase you are the right person for the job because you've done it before, so you can do it for us. Your interview prep would ensure that you walk into the room and you know exactly how to answer competency-based questions, culture-based questions, and so on, using different frameworks. The job reference ensures that you keep that job because you have a reputable organization to vouch for you, and you have a smooth sailing transition with on-the-job support. So you learn the skill, you must package, present yourself as the best candidate, and finally, apply. Okay? For those who are listening at the beginning, Ayobami mentioned something very important. A lot of people go to the conventional job boards to apply to jobs. You go to CV Library, you go to read.co.uk, and so on and so forth. But guess what? Everybody else is doing that. 1,000,001 people are also doing that. So how do you set yourself apart? So what we do is we subscribe to paid job boards that you have to subscribe to. A lot of people don't subscribe. They don't pay to job boards, but we pay to those job boards and we scrape the jobs that comes with sponsorship and so on. We scrape those jobs and we send them to you for you to apply, just like Ayobami mentioned. So you have the opportunity to apply to jobs that are exclusive, and that increases your chances of landing interviews. And when you get an interview, we prep you for that interview, increase your chances of landing the job. So applying to jobs is absolutely critical if you want to land a job. You might have the best skills, you might be the best in the use of Excel, the best in the use of Python as a data scientist, you might be the best in the use of draw.io, Jira as a business analyst. But if you don't know how to apply, where to apply, you'd struggle to land interviews. All right. So we show you how to tailor your CV to every single application. Knowing the number of jobs you need to apply to is also very critical. It takes an average of 267 jobs, quality job applications, not just your easy apply on LinkedIn, quality job applications to land one offer. So if you know that 267 quality applications, how many do I need to break it down per week, per month, per day, and so on? And we always advise at least 10 quality applications every single day. And when I say quality, I mean tailoring your CV to those jobs. And of course, the hidden job market, other strategies on how to land jobs. Applying to jobs alone accounts for only 40% of jobs gotten by people. The other 60% are from other strategies, from cold emails to networking and so on. And we show you how to do these things. All right. So from learning the skills to packaging yourself, presenting yourself as the best person for that job, to knowing how to apply, where to apply, that's what lands you the job. So this is the framework that Ayobami Rashidat used to land jobs. And of course, that's Rashidat right there. She was in customer service in the UK, had an education background. But guess what? Last year, June 2024, she joined the Tenalytics program. Okay. She packaged herself, tailored her CV, joined mentorship sessions, got prepped for interviews. She applied to multiple roles, tailoring every single application. And in August, she landed a job as an income data insight analyst in the UK. And that's absolutely fantastic. The other gentleman that would have joined us, Christian, unfortunately, he couldn't make it. Christian is only 18. So his brother watched a video just like this. And his brother said, I think my younger brother can actually learn technology related skills even before he moves into the university. And guess what? Christian got a job at the age of 18 as a data processor and analyst. I'm going to show you Christian's LinkedIn profile. He's not here, so you can always go back. He made a post about his journey, and it's very, very crucial to anybody who wants to start. If you think you are too young or you think you are too old, Christian is only 18. He joined us last year, September 2024, and he landed a job last month in July 2025. All right. So the same process. He joined our data analytics program in September. His elder brother registered him, joined a session, watched a video like this and registered him. He packaged himself, did all the things we always say you should do, applied to jobs after his mentorship with us. And eventually in July, he landed a job as a data processor and analyst with Market Trends International. Okay, so Christian made an amazing post about his journey. I'm just quickly going to show you Christian's profile as well. Fantastic gentleman. Just at the age of 18, he was able to make this transition. Christian Adeshola, that's his name. That's Christian right there. And one of the first things you'd see is that you both worked at Tenalytics. So if you scroll all the way down to Christian's profile, you'd see that he worked with us, did our data analytics program, and eventually he landed a job as a data processor and analyst. He started this just about 2 months ago, and he made a post about it. All right, about 1 month ago when he landed. That was last month in July. Okay, so it's an amazing read. You want to read what Christian said. Let me see if I can find that post just to show you, and I'm sure it would form, as a point of inspiration for so many people who are interested in getting started as well. All right, I'll see that. Yes, so that's the post right there. Okay, against all odds, landing a tech role at 18. So fantastic read. In September, I was only 17 at that time. And eventually, he completed his program in February this year, 2025. And today, Christian is a data analyst. And he talked about that right here. All right. So there are so many other professionals. Okay. This is Sharon. Sharon worked with the NHS as a healthcare assistant, but she wanted more. She was on sponsorship with the NHS. And guess what? Sharon joined our business analysis program in March this year. She did all the things, packaged herself, tailored her CV, did all the amazing stuff, and she applied to internally available roles within the NHS. And in May this year, 2025, just 3 months after joining the program, she landed a job as a business data analyst with the NHS, and she still kept her sponsorship. Okay, I'll see if I can find Sharon, but if not, so that we don't take too much time. I think that's Sharon right there. Sharon Irene. Okay, so one of the things you'd also see when you go to Sharon, she did her internship, healthcare assistant, but today Sharon is a business data analyst. And she was able to do that moving within the same organization from a healthcare assistant to a business data analyst role. She had worked as a support worker, she had worked as a care worker, and today she's a business data analyst. And this is Pavel, a teacher who became a data analyst in the US. All right, did the same process, joined us in December last year, 2024. And in March 2025, he landed a job with the Arizona Community Physicians in Texas, in Tucson, Arizona, in the US. Okay, you have Nonso. Nonso also had an internal movement in Canada. He worked with the government of Alberta, and I had a conversation with Nonso. He wanted to change his roles, and a role for a data analyst position became available. And I pushed him to apply. He made a case, made his presentation, and eventually he was able to move internally. He joined us in March 2025, and by May, he had landed that job within the same organization. So a lot of people really don't take advantage of strategies like that. You are currently in customer care. You are currently in something else with Barclays Bank, with NatWest, with any other organization. You can move internally. The co-founder of Tenalytics, Efemena worked in the warehouse with DPD. He was a warehouse operative with DPD. And eventually, in that same company, in the same DPD, he became a business intelligence developer. And that was how his journey started from Ireland. Then he moved to the UK and so on and so forth. You have somebody like Gad. Gad was a student, joined our data engineering program in July last year, did all the things, built a portfolio, tailored his CV, applied to multiple jobs. And in January this year, 2025, Gad was able to land a job with the NHS on visa sponsorship as a data warehouse and ETL developer. Okay, I'll see if I can find Gad very quickly. So these are amazing professionals who have done very well for themselves. And this is just showing you that, look, if you want to get started, the most important thing, the most difficult thing is to actually start your journey, just like Ayobami and just like Gad. So you'd see Gad, Azure data engineer with Tenalytics, completed his program in July last year. And this year, he landed a job with the NHS, full visa sponsorship. So how do you learn? How did Ayobami learn? How did Gad, all the other professionals that have succeeded, and there are over 3,000 of them over the last 5 years, how have they been able to make that switch and make that transition? So the first thing is you select one of the career paths. Select one of them, stick to it, and ensure that you learn the skills, you work on projects, you package yourself, build a portfolio, know where to apply, know how to apply, get interview prep. Okay, so your learning journey is for 6 months. You learn with us for 6 months. So this is not your conventional become a data analyst or a data engineer in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. No, you learn within 6 months. learn all the technical skills, you work on projects, you solve problems in class with your facilitator, a professional who has done the job and is currently on the job, and they help you make that transition. Then again, you have your 2 months internship with our sister company, Amdari. So the internship gives you the opportunity to collaborate in a cross-functional team, working with other professionals to solve a common problem. So a data analyst would work with a financial analyst and a data scientist, because that's the way you work in the real world of work. You don't work in silos, you collaborate. So we simulate that environment for you during your internship. All right. And the advantage of this is you can use Tenalytics and Amdari on your CV and on your LinkedIn, okay, as your UK and Canada work experience, because Amdari operates out of London in the UK and also out of Alberta in Canada. So you have the opportunity to list work experience from the UK and also from Canada, North America if you're in the US. And finally, it doesn't matter where you are. On Saturdays, you can join your class. Ayobami talked about the flexibility. So for those in the UK, for example, or in Europe or similar time zones, your live classes are 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturdays. And for those in the US, your class starts 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mountain Time. So it doesn't matter where you are. You have a class that fits your time zone. If you're in Nigeria, you join the class scheduled for those in the UK because you have similar time zones. If you're in Europe, you join the class for those in the UK because of similar time zones. If you're in the US, North America, you join this class for those in the US, Canada, because of similar time zones. All right. So for those in the UK, for example, you have the flexibility of joining those in the US or Canada if you're not available in the morning, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. You can join, which if you join the class for those in the US, for example, that would fall between 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. your time. So you have that flexibility of adjusting your schedule. And every other day, you are on the LMS, watching your videos, practicing and solving problems. All right. So I'm seeing questions in the chat. Clarnit is asking, when is the next cohort? So how can you start today? So like Tochi mentioned, Ayobami also alluded to that fact. Different countries want professionals that can contribute immensely to their economies. And transitioning from wherever you are to those career paths becomes very important for you to stay competitive. And you don't just want to say, I want to move to tech. Tech is very broad. You need to narrow it down to specific roles, and eventually you pick one of them and get started. And you want to find yourself in career paths that are in high demand. So how can you start? For somebody who was a healthcare assistant, becoming a business data analyst with the same NHS. For somebody like Ayobami, who was in education and HR, making that transition. And even me, industrial chemist, becoming a data analyst, data scientist, all through my career. So how can you also make that jump or start today? If you're in healthcare, you're a care worker, you are a nurse, you want to make that switch. The next cohort starts on the 9th of August. All right. And we have an amazing discount for Tochi's community, people coming from Tochi. Okay. So for anybody who wants to join any of the programs, either business analysis, data science, cybersecurity, rather than paying the full amount of $900, you get an amazing 20% discount where you get to pay only $750. And I'll show you the equivalence in pounds. Okay. Now, the beauty about this is if you take advantage of the discount, you also have the opportunity to pay in monthly installments. So you don't need $750 to start. All you have to do is you make the first payment of $150, and that gets you into the program. And then you make your subsequent payments month on month afterwards. Okay. So I'll just share how you can go about that, and eventually I'll take questions before we call it a day. All right. So if you click on this link, which Tochi is going to post, in the description. And for those who have questions, so maybe you're not entirely sure, should I go for data analytics? Should I go for cybersecurity? you can join something we call, you join our community, and we organize something we call a clarity session. So that clarity session is where you ask all your questions and we help you decide. Okay, we listen to your background, we listen to your current work experience, and then we help you decide on the best career path for you. But for those that are sure and want to start, all you have to do, click on that link. It takes you into the enrollment center, and I'll show you what the enrollment center looks like very quickly and how you can also register, and then we'll take questions. So it takes you to the enrollment center. The enrollment center is where you get to select the program you're interested in. Okay, so you come in right here. Say, for example, I'm interested in business analysis, or I'm interested in data analytics. I just click on register and it takes me to where I can go ahead and make payments. Okay, so if you are in the UK, for example, you'd see the amount in pounds, £615. Let me maximize this a bit. Okay, £615, which means you pay £123 every month. You pay £123 to get started, and you pay the subsequent payments for the next 4 months. So 5 monthly payments that get you in. All right. If you want to pay in Canadian dollars, the same thing. All you have to do, go to the top right corner and you can select the currency. I can type CAD, Canadian dollars, and you'd see the equivalent payments in dollars. Okay. If I want to make payments in euros, I can do that as well. Euro. Okay. And you'd see the equivalents in euros. All right. So very straightforward. If you're paying in euros, 146 euro every single month for 5 months. All right. So there are 7 slots available. For those coming from Tochi's community, you have the opportunity to be one of the first 7 people to take advantage of the discounts. So once the discount is off, the prices would reverse to the original amount. Okay. So say I want to pay in pounds, for example, British pounds. I want to make payments in 5 monthly installments or 4 monthly installments or 3. You can decide on your preferred payment plan. So 5 monthly payments, click on secure your seat. So you'd see the timeline of how you'd pay. Okay, you make your first payment today, the next in September, next in October, next in November, and by December, you complete your entire payment. You click on proceed, enter your details, enter your credit card, your debit card, and then you get to make payments. Now, once you've made payments, you get an automated confirmation into your email and redirected to a form for you to fill. That form is where you get to fill all your bio details. And once you do that, it gets you into the program. All right. You'd get a link where you join a WhatsApp group. You get a link where you join the LMS. You have a dashboard to yourself, just like this. And you also get a link to join the live classroom. Okay. So all these links, you get them a week before the next cohort commences. And the next cohort would start on the 9th of August. And like somebody's asking, can a Nigerian join? We have numerous Nigerians, a lot of Nigerians working from Nigeria and working for companies in the US, working remotely. They joined our data science, they joined our data analytics, they joined our business analysis program. We have people in the UK working for companies in the US as well. Okay. So, and these are professionals who have joined our program. So it doesn't matter where you are. People from Ghana, the US, from Canada, the UK, and from across the globe joining the program. Your sessions are self-paced, and you also have the live instructor-led classes on Saturdays. So on a Saturday, you have a live session. Somebody like me would be on the call, walking you through problems, and we solve problems together. So it doesn't matter where you are. You can always join any of our programs. Okay. Are we paying the exact same amount? You are getting the exact same value. So you're paying the exact same amount. All you'd see is the difference in currency. Okay. So for the person who asked that question, say I'm in Nigeria or I'm in Ghana and I want to pay for cybersecurity, for example. Okay. I can simply click on this and type in Naira. and you'd see the Naira equivalent. Okay. The 5 monthly payment. So you pay 255,000 Naira per month for 5 months. If I'm in Ghana, I want to pay in Ghanaian cedi, I can do that as well. I just type that right there and you'd see the Ghanaian cedi. You can pay in South African rand and any currency that you'd love to. Okay, so you have that flexibility and you have that option. All right. So the next cohort starts on the 9th of August. So we are just about a week to the 9th of August. So take advantage of the discount available and get in. Okay. So I think I'm going to take questions that we have in the chat, Tochi, if we have any. But don't forget, for those who have questions, before you decide to register, join the community, which Tochi would post in the description. And you have the opportunity to come ask your questions, get clarity. Like we said at the beginning of this video, information research is very, very important. Okay, so do that, come ask us questions and decide on the right career path for you, and we will help you make that decision. Okay, Tochi, over to you.
Thank you so much for that presentation. I just posted the link to join the WhatsApp community in the chat box. So just click on it and it will take you straight so you can join. Okay, it's free. You're not paying anything to join. You're going to be getting free mentorship. You have access to the teachers and yeah, you get access to them, Tenalytics team, and you can ask them your questions. They can help you decide on the course or the career path to go with if you're not sure. Because I'm seeing somebody asking, I'm a nurse, which one do you advise I go for? So just join the session, the
Yeah,
WhatsApp group, talk to
yeah,
them. Their contact details, everything will also be in the description box so you can
yeah,
speak with them. And I think they will just ask you a couple of questions and help you decide on the one
yeah.
to go for.
We
Okay.
have a quiz. We have a quiz we'll share with you. Okay, and that's it's a recommender system. So based on several questions, you answer those questions, and automatically you'll be recommended a program to join. All right. But after you're recommended, we also have a conversation with you to listen to so that we understand your capacity to also complete the program and get value as well. We've had nurses. The lady that was on my screen before, I stopped sharing. Her name is Judith. Judith already had her ILR. Okay. She wasn't looking for sponsorship. She's in the UK in Huddersfield. All right. And Judith was able to land a job with a company in the US because the US pays a lot more for same roles than the UK. So she
Yeah.
lives in the UK and she works for a company in the US as a business analyst. But this is somebody who worked in care. She was a care worker, but she was tired of doing care. And just like Ayobami, who was referred, who was referred by somebody to Tenalytics. Judith was also referred to Tenalytics by her friend. She went to her daughter's school to drop her daughter early off in the morning, and she was complaining. And her friend, who had just completed our program and landed a job as a data analyst, told Judith that, look, I think you should consider Tenalytics. She came to us. She joined us in March 2024. And by July, she had landed that job working for a company in the US. Okay. So again, that's the opportunity you tend to get when you are competitive and you have the skills to compete for the jobs available. All right. Your background doesn't matter. Okay. So we help you answer those questions if you have any. Just make sure you join the community, come in and ask all the questions you have.
Clean it services. Does it mean if one joins this August cohort and in December one must have mastered, gained full mastery?
Yeah. Full mastery. Okay. Now, full mastery is never ever gotten from the classroom. Full mastery is gotten from the job. Okay. So to be a master data analyst, to be a master, when you talk about mastery, you get that from doing the job, not from the classroom. So what I always tell people is the classroom equips you with everything you need to land the job. as a data analyst, for example, how do I use Excel to solve problems? How do I use Power BI, Tableau, SQL, Chat GPT, and so many other, tools and technologies? All right. You'd work on real world projects that simulate the real world, projects that I've worked on before while I worked as a data analyst. So we changed the name of the companies, we changed the data for data privacy, and you also work on those type of projects. All right. So when you go into an interview and you're asked competency-based questions, clean it, services, tell me about a time you have used Power BI to create a data model that helped streamline your reporting for your dashboard. Because you've done it before, you can answer those questions. But what we've seen happen so many times, within the first 3, 4 months, 5 months, people are landing jobs because there are so many roles that would not require you. And this is answering your question directly. There are so many roles that would not require you to know A to Z. They want somebody who is good with Excel and SQL. And the first 3 months, you've learned Excel, you've learned SQL, you can apply to that job. And there are so many people like that. There was a lady who got a job 1 month and a half into the program. And that was simply because the role was for a program evaluation analyst. And the tool, so what she was doing was helping the governments analyze their programs for people living with disability. And the tool they were using to do that analysis was Excel. And she learned Excel within the first 1.5 months based on the curriculum. And she was scared. Can I apply to this job? And I told her, go ahead. You've done Excel already. They want somebody who knows how to use Excel. She applied and she got that job with the government of Saskatchewan in Canada. Okay. So I hope that answers your question. Clean it. Mr. Michael is asking, is there a chance for someone in Nigeria to get sponsorship in the UK after? Yes, we've had so many people get this. It's more difficult to do that now. Okay, I'll be very frank with you. It's more difficult because of all the different immigration changes. However, yes, it is possible to still do that. Okay, it's just more difficult. How can someone land a job in the US from the UK? Is the job sponsored or remote? It's remote, 100% remote. Okay. And that is what Judith is doing. She works as a business analyst. So she doesn't need sponsorship in the UK because she already has permanent residency. But in terms of salary, competitive salary, the US pays a lot more. Judith is earning 6 figures in working for that company in the US. And if she was doing the same job in the UK, she wouldn't have earned that type of money. So her focus was very clear. I want to get a remote job in the US. And we helped her get that. Okay. I hope I answered your question, Kelechi.
Yeah, I think we have answered almost everything here so
Fantastic.
far. So does anybody have any other question before we go? Because we've answered almost everything. Okay, there's one more. So this should be the last. Is the
Yes,
course and classics flexible for a 9 to 5?
absolutely. Absolutely. So it's designed for the 9 to 5, David. We designed the program for the 9 to 5. We designed the program for those who have multiple shifts. Okay. And that's simply because we know what it takes to live in the UK. I've lived in the UK myself. I've interacted with so many people within that same, doing those type of jobs. And like Ayobami, when Ayobami joined, the program was for 4 months. All right. So we've always revamped the entire learning journey. So now it's no longer 4 months. It's 6 months learning and 2 months internship. And the reason why you have it that way is it doesn't matter what you do. You work 9 to 5, you work weekends, you have a very busy schedule. You're a mother, just like Ayobami. You have so many responsibilities. You have enough time to catch up. Even if you miss a class, you have the recording. If you can't watch the recording because it's too long, you have something we call a drop-in session. You can book a session during the week to, you drop in and you are walked through the things that happened during the weekend that you missed. Okay. So the program is designed for the 9 to 5, is designed for that person who is a care worker, for that person who has multiple shifts and still wants to upskill.
Emmanuel says he just finished data analysis course and he really wants Adeiza to guide him,
Yep.
maybe by an online tuition or something, that he's in Ghana.
So all you need to do, Emmanuel, join the community. Join the community. Book a clarity session. Book a session. You have time, flexibility to book anytime, and let them know you joined Tochi's session. I want to have a conversation with Adeiza. I need some sort of support or something around what I need to do. Okay, they'll provide you with my email, and I'll help you, give you some guidance, if you will. Is there an exam written for the program? So again, because our program is not designed like your university or designed your using the traditional educational system, you don't have exams. When you work with the NHS, when you work with Barclays, with Virgin, with NatWest, you're not giving exams to do the job. Okay, you are there to solve a problem. So we simulate that same environment. So what we have to replace that, what you'd call some sort of assessment, we have quizzes in between. As you watch your videos, you complete those quizzes and then you move to the next stage. And by the time you are done with a particular tool, like Excel, for example, you have a capstone project. So that capstone project is something that you have to complete. You make a presentation just like you would to your line manager in the office before you move to the next technology like Power BI. So those capstone projects helps to assess your learning and determine if learning has taken place or not, rather than having an exam. Examinations are not a best measure for how well you can do the job. Exams are just to measure how well you can retain information and pour that information out when it is needed. All right. I hope I answered that for the person who asked. How many real world projects can someone who wants to do data analytics? A minimum of 25. From start till finish, you have a minimum of 25 projects that you'd complete, Kelechi. And those are the projects you add to your portfolio. They become part of your work experience that you speak about when you get into interviews.
Okay. Um, I want to register for my spouse.
Zero knowledge, Kelechi. You don't need any background. As long as your spouse can open up a laptop, she can open up a folder, she can browse the internet, she can close the laptop, she can shut down. That's pretty much what she needs. Simple use of the laptop. Okay. Every other thing she'll need to learn how to use Excel to analyze, how to use Power, should learn that in class. Okay. You have the most patient facilitators working with you to help you learn that. All right. So the curriculum itself is designed with the beginner in mind. We don't expect you to come with any prerequisites, and you get the same value, just like somebody who has experience, joining the same program. Adenka is asking, can I enroll my child of 13? I think 13 is quite young. The youngest we've gotten so far, I think, is 16. Okay, 13 is quite young. And the reason is at 13, you're probably in high school. I would say that for somebody who has finished high school, about to get into the university, or for somebody who is already in the university, then some of these things would make more sense to them compared to someone in 13. I think 13 is quite young to get into the program, our program, the way it is structured at the moment.
Okay. So for those that are just joining, this live stream is going to be here on YouTube, so you can always watch, because I can see some of those questions already answered them here, and it was well detailed. We've answered your questions, giving you details, everything you need to know. So please just rewatch the video so that we don't keep going over what we have done already. Okay. So don't worry if you're just joining, you didn't miss anything. The video will always be here for you to watch, and all the details, the links. I posted some in the comments, but I'll still leave them in the description of the video. So feel free to click on it, join the mentorship section, and don't forget the discount. Reach out immediately so you'll be among the first 7 to get that discount. So thank you, Ayobami, for coming to share with us and for your time. Thank you, Suleiman. We appreciate you. And thank you, everyone, for watching. I'll see you guys in my next one.
Always a pleasure.
Bye bye.
Cheers, guys.